59% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. Not $10,000, not $5,000, $1,000. That means if your car breaks down tomorrow, if you get an unexpected medical bill, if your furnace goes out in the middle of January, more than half the country is reaching for a credit card, borrowing from family, or just hoping it doesn't happen. And here's the thing. Emergencies don't care about your plans. They don't check your bank account first. They just show up. So today, we're going to fix that. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build an emergency fund from zero, how much you actually need, where to keep it so it grows while you sleep, how to automate the whole thing, and what to do once you hit your goal. Step by step. No fluff. Let's get into it. An emergency fund is money you set aside specifically for things you didn't see coming. Car repair? Emergency. Medical bill? Emergency. You lose your job and need to cover rent for 3 months? Definitely an emergency. A vacation? Not an emergency. A new pair of sneakers on sale? Not an emergency. Concert tickets? Fun, but not an emergency. The whole point of this fund is peace of mind. It's a financial safety net that sits there quietly until you need it. And when you do need it, you don't have to panic. You don't have to put it on a credit card at 24% interest. You don't have to call your parents and ask for money. You just handle it. Think of it this way. An emergency fund is the difference between a bad week and a financial disaster. And right now, most people don't have one. According to Bankrate's 2025 report, only 41% of Americans could actually tap their savings to cover a $1,000 surprise expense. That's the lowest it's been since 2021, and about 43% said they'd have to borrow money to cover it. Credit cards, personal loans, family. That cycle of borrowing for emergencies is how people end up trapped in debt. So let's break it. All right, so how much should you have in your emergency fund? You've probably heard the rule, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Every major financial institution recommends this. NerdWallet, Fidelity, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, 3 to 6 months. But here's the key. It's 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses, not your total income, not your gross pay, your essentials. The stuff you absolutely have to pay every month to keep a roof over your head and food on the table. So let's run the numbers with a real example. Say your monthly essentials look like this. Rent, $1,476. Utilities, $120. Phone and internet, $30. Insurance, $50. Transportation, $97. Groceries, $500. Debt payments, $1,000. Add all that up, that's $3,273 a month in essential expenses. Multiply that by 6 months, and your emergency fund target is about $19,638. Let's call it roughly $20,000. Now, I know, $20,000 sounds like a lot. And if you're starting from zero, that number can feel impossible. So here's what I want you to do. Don't focus on the big number yet. Fidelity recommends starting with just $1,000 as your first milestone. That's it, $1,000. That $1,000 alone puts you ahead of more than half the country. It covers a tow truck and a mechanic. It covers a deductible. It covers an emergency room copay. Get to $1,000 first. Then, build from there. Okay, you know how much you need. Now, where do you put it? This part is important because the wrong account can either cost you money or lock your money away when you need it most. Let's break down 3 options. Option 1, a regular savings account. This is what most people have. The problem? The national average interest rate on a regular savings account is 0.39%. That means if you have $10,000 sitting in a regular savings account, you're earning about $39 a year. That's less than inflation. Your money is actually losing value over time. Not ideal. Option 2, a high-yield savings account. This is what I'd recommend for most people as the foundation of your emergency fund. Right now, the best high-yield savings accounts are paying around 4% APY. Some are even a little higher. That same $10,000? In a high-yield savings account, it earns roughly $400 a year instead of $39. That's 10 times more. And the best part? Your money is still completely liquid, meaning you can pull it out anytime, no penalty, no waiting period. FDIC insured up to $250,000. It's safe, it's accessible, and it's growing. Option 3. A certificate of deposit, or CD. CDs can give you a slightly higher rate, sometimes 1/4 to 0.5% more than a high-yield savings account. But here's the catch. Your money is locked in for a set period, 6 months, 1 year, sometimes longer. And if you need to pull it out early, you're paying an early withdrawal penalty. That defeats the entire purpose of an emergency fund. Now, here's my take. For the core of your emergency fund, the money you might need at 2 in the morning on a random Tuesday, keep it in a high-yield savings account. That's your go-to. But if you've built up a strong emergency fund, say you've hit that $20,000 target, you could put a portion of the excess into a short-term CD to lock in a rate. Just don't put all of it there. You always want quick access to the bulk of your emergency savings. And one more thing. Keep your emergency fund in a separate account from your everyday checking. Don't let it sit next to your spending money. Out of sight, out of mind. That separation makes it way harder to accidentally spend it on something that isn't a real emergency. All right, so now you know how much you need and where to keep it. Let's talk about how to actually build it from zero. Because knowing is one thing, doing it is another. Strategy number 1, pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else with your paycheck, move money into your emergency fund. Treat it like a bill, a non-negotiable. Even if it's $50, even if it's $20, something is always better than nothing. Strategy number 2, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your emergency fund. Pick a day, maybe the day after you get paid, and have the money move automatically. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to remember. It just happens. Automation removes willpower from the equation, and that's the whole point. Let's say you automate $500 a month. In 1 year, you've saved $6,000. In 2 years, $12,000. In 3 years and 4 months, you've hit $20,000. From zero to fully funded, just by setting it and forgetting it. And if 500 is too much right now, start with 200. Start with 100. The amount matters less than the consistency. Strategy number 3, use your tax refund. This is a big one that people overlook. The average American tax refund is somewhere around $3,000. If you take that refund and dump it straight into your emergency fund, you just jumped from 0 to $3,000 in one move. That's your $1,000 milestone plus extra. The CFPB actually recommends this as one of the fastest ways to kickstart your emergency savings. Don't spend your refund on stuff. Spend it on your future security. Strategy number 4, cut one thing. You don't have to overhaul your entire lifestyle. Just pick one recurring expense you can live without for a while. Maybe it's a streaming subscription. Maybe it's eating out one less time per week. Redirect that money to your emergency fund. Small cuts, compounded over time, make a big difference. Now, here's a question a lot of people ask. Should I build my emergency fund first, or should I pay off my debt first? And the answer is both, but in the right order. Here's how I think about it. Step 1. Get your emergency fund to that first milestone, $1,000. That's your safety net so you don't go deeper into debt when something goes wrong. This comes first, no matter what. Step 2. Once you have that base, look at your debt. Specifically, look at the interest rates. If you have a loan or credit card charging you 6, 7, 10, 20% interest, that debt is growing faster than any savings account can keep up with. Let me give you an example. Say your emergency fund goal is $20,000. You've saved $10,000 so far, but you also have a student loan with a balance of $14,000 at 6.5% interest. Meanwhile, the best high-yield savings account is paying you around 4%. Do the math. You're earning 4% on your savings, but you're paying 6.5% on your debt. That's a net loss of 2.5%. You're losing money by saving. In that situation, it might make more sense to use some of your next savings to pay off the high-interest debt before growing the emergency fund to $20,000. You're not draining your whole emergency fund. You still have that $10,000 cushion, but you're eliminating a debt that's costing you more than your savings are earning. Once the high-interest debt is gone, you go right back to building. Now, your money is working for you instead of against you. The key takeaway? Always keep a base emergency fund. But if you have high-interest debt eating you alive, it can make sense to knock that out before stacking more into savings. Just don't empty the whole fund to do it. Let's talk about the worst-case scenario. You lose your income. This is the whole reason the emergency fund exists. And if it happens, how you respond in the first few weeks matters a lot. First, immediately switch to essentials only. No subscriptions you don't need, no eating out, no impulse purchases. Your emergency fund just went from savings to survival mode. Every dollar needs to stretch. Second, look at your biggest expense, which for most people is housing. If you're renting and you're in an expensive city, consider whether it makes sense to downsize or relocate temporarily. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but if you're paying $2,000 a month in rent and you could move somewhere that costs $800, you just tripled how long your emergency fund lasts. Some people move back in with family for a few months. Some people relocate to a lower cost of living area. If you have a $20,000 emergency fund in a city where your expenses are $5,000 a month, that's 4 months. But in a city or a situation where your expenses drop to $2,000 a month, that same $20,000 lasts you 10 months. That's 6 extra months of runway to find your next opportunity. And if you own your home and have a mortgage, think about whether renting it out temporarily makes sense, especially if the rental income could cover the mortgage while you figure things out. The point is, when income stops, your job is to slow the bleed, cut expenses, get creative with housing, and let your emergency fund do what it was built to do, buy you time. Okay, let's say you did it. You hit your emergency fund target, $20,000 sitting safely in a high-yield savings account. Congratulations. Seriously. So now what? Now you pivot. Your emergency fund is fully funded. It's earning interest. It's doing its job. So the money you were putting into it every month? That money now goes to building wealth. Start putting that extra cash into investments. A diversified index fund that tracks the S&P 500 is a great starting point. Historically, the stock market returns around 10% per year on average over the long term. That's way more than even the best savings account. You can also look into bonds for stability or gold and commodities as a hedge against inflation. The mix depends on your risk tolerance and your goals. But the key shift is this. Once your emergency fund is set, you stop just saving and you start investing. Saving protects your present. Investing builds your future. And one more thing. Once you're in this stage, don't touch the emergency fund for investments. That money stays liquid and accessible. It's insurance, not investment capital. If you dip into it for an actual emergency, your first priority is building it back up before you go back to investing. Let's recap. Start with $1,000 as your first milestone. Aim for 3 to 6 months of essential expenses as your full goal. Keep it in a high-yield savings account where it's safe, liquid, and earning around 4%. Automate your savings so it happens without thinking. Use your tax refund to accelerate. If you have high-interest debt, handle that strategically. And once you're fully funded, start investing and build real wealth. Your emergency fund isn't just money in an account, it's freedom. It's the ability to handle whatever life throws at you without panic, without debt, and without asking anyone for help. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm putting out new videos on simple money advice for real life. Follow Wealth Stack, and let's build together.